Hi everybody and welcome back. Yep, it's good to see you, and of course yes, equally it's good to be seen. So today I am in the hazel woodland, and today we are going to be building or making a primitive weapon. But of course in the UK we cannot hunt with anything that impales, so we won't be hunting, and we're just doing it for fun, because that's why we're doing this. It is fun. So I'm going to be making the primitive Atlatl, and what we need to start off with that is, well, it only consists of two parts really. So that's the thrower, that's the bit we hold, and the spear itself. That's all we need. So for the Atlatl to be successful, we need a nice long spear, as straight as we can get it. But being in the hazel coppice, we should have no problem finding a nice long straight one. So let's just go and have a look and see what we can find. Oh, this one looks pretty good. It's almost thumb thickness. It's not quite as long as I'd like it to be, but I'm going to take it anyway, because it may be the best one that we can find. So I'm going to do my coppice cut at an angle, and I'm going to take it away. That's not too bad. So I've been looking around for a decent Atlatl thrower, and so what I've come up with, if you can see this bit here, and it's got a natural V in it. Now this bit here will be the handle, and this piece here I will turn into the little like spiky bit that the pole goes onto. So I might just use this one here. I mean, I know it's green, but it would do the job. So I've cut this one down and we'll use this one. Nice one. Here we have our stick that was in the tree. Remember, it was up there somewhere. This bit's coming out, this bit's growing down. I've sawn it off there. I've cut it roughly between a little bit longer than elbow and to my fingertip thickness. That's probably going to be a good size. What I need to do is clean some of this off. Not necessary, I could still use that. That's sort of pretty grippy really. So what I might do then is just flatten this area off a bit, yeah, and then gonna make the point sort of come around this way a bit more, because that's obviously it's going up at an angle. I'm going to try and carve around that way a bit more. And then with the spears themselves, they don't need huge amounts of work doing to them. If I just want to use it as a primitive spear, I could just use, well, this is not the spear end, this is going to be the spear end, because I want the thick end to be the bit that pushes. So I'm probably going to spear this end, probably cut it there, make it into a point. I've got another one here. This one's a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker. So this is already squared off, not a problem. And just stick a point on the end there. And that should do the trick. I mean, if I had a fire, I could probably straighten them a bit better than they are. I'm not too worried. They're not too bad. They're not that bad at all actually. So first things first, I'm going to start with this. So I've got to take my knife, obviously. I'm just going to carve this end away. The good thing about working with green as opposed to seasoned wood, it is a lot softer, and it will obviously, if you tend to keep, or you're tending to keep this, it will season and go hard, obviously. Obviously being careful, we're using knives now, so make sure your fingers are out of the way. And some places are pretty awkward to get to. I want to try and keep that point, if I can, straight down the middle of my throwing stick, like so, because at the moment it's on a slight angle. So if I can keep, I'll mark that there, and that's about the centre, so if I can keep that in the centre I'll be happy. Right, that's probably all I'm going to do to that. It's got my point, it's pretty much down the centre. Okay, this is going to be primitive, so I'm going to keep it as it is. Okay, sometimes people thin those bits out, because really what you're supposed to do is hold it sort of like that. Then when you chuck it, it's like that. But I'm just gonna try and hold it like that. And if I can't do it that way, then obviously I'll carve these pieces out here so my fingers can go in there like so. But that is quite wide. But I mean, that's pretty good. I'll leave it like that for a sec. I'm gonna leave the bark on there so it gives it a bit of grip. So let's have a look at the arrows. Okay, so how tall is this? I would say it was probably 7 and a bit feet tall. Okay, if I wanted to, I could just thin this out a bit, which I might do. Just thin that down a bit there, make it try and keep it all the way the same all the way along. Sorry. And what I want to do, really, just to speed things up, I've actually brought out my carving axe today, which I don't really bring out that much. So I thought we'd give it a whirl. It's got a nice bigger blade on it. You can get your hands right up in there like that, which these are excellent for carving. So all I want to do with this then is literally just go along like this. It's got a bit of a twist there. I'm not too worried about that. That's pretty good. That's a lot thinner there now. It's almost equal. Okay, well, on the end then, I just need to do a little bit of a depression in the middle. That's just so a point can sit in there quite comfortably. It's quite lucky with these because they're quite pithy in the middle, so all you're doing is really just sort of digging the pith out a little bit. So we put a little bit of a point on the end. I mean, obviously you can put feathers on the end, but what we're going to do is we're just going to see what it's like first without feathers, and then if we got to make up some makeshift flights, maybe out of birch bark, we'll try that and just see if it makes any difference. So I'm just going to put a point on the end. Okay, if I had a fire, again I could fire harden that, make it a lot better. I've only got a 3-prong on there, but I suppose if you're hunting you'd put it more into a point. Okay, should we do that? Make it a bit more authentic. Okay, that's pretty cool. So we've got a spare spear if we want one, and then we've got this spear here which I think we should try to see how we get on with it. This is mega primitive. Here we go. Let's put this away. Let's put all our tools away. Okay. So, I won't lie, I've had a couple of goes and I'm not succeeding very well. I'm finding that it's very awkward to hold the wood and, well, the thrower, should we say, and the stick at the same time. So I'm assuming that I'm going to have to whittle down my thrower to make it a little bit more comfortable, because I'm finding that my fingers just aren't long enough to go around the stick and hold the spear at the same time. But as you can see, if I go, this is quite awkward, so it doesn't fly very straight, but here we go. It goes, but it's just not comfortable enough, so I've got to whittle this down a bit, make that a little bit thinner so I can get my fingers in there and see how we get on with that. So what we got so far then is I decided after a couple of attempts that the other spears that I cut just didn't work very well. They were a little bit too heavy, probably because they're green and they've got moisture in them or water in them. So what I've opted to do then is I've cut a smaller one, a lot thinner. I'd say it's probably smaller than finger thickness. It's reasonably straight all the way through, and I'll show you what I've done. So let me just show you how this goes without any sort of stabilisation on it, i.e. feathers or birch bark. So I'm not very good at this, I must admit. So I'm just going to aim down there and try and throw it as such. Okay, as you can see, it wasn't very good. There was no stabilisation. It didn't go very true like an arrow. So we're going to put some stabilisation on there and see how much better it is. So because I haven't got any feathers, I've just cut myself some silver birch bark to play around with. So what I've done then is I split the stick all the way down, because obviously I haven't got any glue. I could make some glue, but obviously I've got time for that today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert one of these in one side, like so. It's got a bit of bark on there, that needs to come off. Right, so we've put one end in here. Like so, and then we stick the other end in the other end like so. Got a piece of paracord on the end there, just tighten it up, tie it off, and that should hold it together. So let's just see how well this one goes. See the difference with a little bit of stabilisation. So that's the Atlatl, and it works actually extremely well. I don't think I've done the probably any justice. I mean, that works quite well. It's pretty good. It's all to do, it really is all to do with the technique, which I don't think I've really got very well, but perseverance will obviously prevail. I am finding though that this is, considering when you throw it with your arm, it's almost gentle, but this is a much more aggressive way of throwing it, and having this silver birch bark in there really does stabilize the flight. As you can see, I'm actually, believe it or not, I was actually aiming for the GoPro, so I wasn't that far out on a couple of occasions. I actually thought it was going to hit it, so I would definitely like to probably make a better one actually. I mean, this is just a bit of a ruffian, just to sort of give it a go. I did this, well, I taught this many years ago. I probably haven't made one of these for about 15 odd years, 16 odd years, because that's probably when the last lesson I taught. So but these are really good fun, and they are really effective. I think if you practiced enough and you had a good comfortable set, then it would work really well. I mean, obviously that goes in there. Okay, and what a lot of people do, obviously, just hold it in there like that. I mean, that's pretty good like that. Okay, and that's all you need. But I think a lot of it is all to do with having your arm further back. I mean, I don't, you know, I'm definitely not an expert at this. So that's the Atlatl done and dusted. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you get out there and try it, because obviously that is the only way you're going to learn it. And I will catch you on the next one, and have a nice weekend wherever you're doing, wherever you are, and I will see you on the next one. Hey, if all fails, you could always throw this at it. Voila! Superb. Okay, I'm out of here.